Welcome back, folks, to another exciting edition of Let's Play Tyranny. As always, I'm your host, J Square John Jeremy, and last we left off, we learned a lot about our companion verse. A lot, in fact. Many of you who viewed the episode left comments regarding whether or not it was appropriate to showcase that as a full episode. I believe it was. If we're going to be playing this game as a story, and we're living the tale of John Jeremy and his companions, it would only be fair to include their stories in our recordings. That's just my 2 cents. Now, our character sheet here shows that we have a level up. We have unspent talent points. With each level, you can increase one of your character's attributes: might, finesse, quickness, wits, vitality, or resolve. Each of these attributes provide benefits to your character as well as increases one or more skills. Increasing an attribute costs 1 point until the attribute score reaches a 19. To raise an attribute from 19 to 20 requires 2 skill points. So right now, we have 1 point available to us, and the game is saying we should... Oh no, rather, the game is saying that our Edict of Execution gives us +1 resolve. If we were to increase our wits, it would increase magic staff, dodge, lore, subterfuge, control lightning, control vigor. Vitality, finesse, which would increase magic staff, one-handed weapons, athletics, parry, or might. I'm going to go ahead and put it into wits and save that. Now in my talents, I've got 1 point available for talent. There are 6 categories of talents available to your character: leadership, defense, power, agility, ranged, and magic. With each level, you gain 1 point to purchase a talent from any of these categories. Within a talent tree, each tier of talents unlocks based on how many talent points you've spent within that tree. Each companion has their own talent trees with unique abilities. These abilities unlock in the same manner as your character's talents. As you spend points within a companion talent tree, further tiers of talents become available. So, we've got all of these particular talents here. Talent tiers, rather. In leadership, we can choose none of those. In defense, we can choose shield mastery, staggering force, or shield slam. Power, cleave, palm strike, or focus strike. Agility, flurry of blows, feint, lightfoot. For range, hobble, escape, and poison dart. For magic, magical prodigy, arcane charge, and charge strike. I like the bonus to the lore skill. We'll go ahead and save that. And now we take a look at verse here. Verse has 1 point available in each of these talents here. Looks like, I think. Mocking Iron, Know Your Enemy, Killing Spree, Fury's Rush. Okay, then no, she does not. Our quests right now, we need to speak with Iron Marshal Erenios to discuss how we should approach the battle for Echo Call Crossing. That's at the Disfavored camp. And we need to speak with the Fifth Eye at the Scarlet Chorus camp to see what we can do to assist their operation in Trip Nettle. And then we have an opportunity to create spells, it looks like. Spells are created using 2 or more sigils. The core sigil determines the type of magic, such as fire, frost, or illusion. The expression sigil determines how that core shapes itself into the world, such as a ball of fire or frost enchanting weapon. There are several categories of sigils that can accent a spell, granting it greater range, accuracy, or providing bonus secondary effects. To begin creating a spell, select the core sigil for the type of magic, followed by the expression sigil to determine what form the spell takes. So, my core sigil can be the sigil of lightning or the sigil of vigor. If we do lightning, my expression sigil is the sigil of focused intent. Expression used to create spells that affect single targets near the caster. I've now created Charged Fist. Or no, I've updated Charged Fist. We already have that. So if we go over to Sigil of Vigor and we choose Focused Intent, we get Titan's Touch. That's what we also have as well. Never mind then. Okay. The game wants us to talk to the Iron Marshal. Let's go find where the Iron Marshal is. What do you mean you haven't heard from Commander Ironcore? It's been a full span since we sent word to him. Last we heard, Master Radix said to keep an eye on the Northeastern Pass, that he'd be coming through there. For the mercy of Kyros, we don't have the soldiers to send hunting through the trees for our own damn Earthshakers. It's not his fault.
At your service, Fateinder.
The verse bows with an added flourish.
What do you need?
Apparently we can duel her.
That would be an understatement, and I thought you'd never ask. Since you're obviously at a huge disadvantage, I'll let you pick our weapon of choice.
How about bows? Let's play target practice.
If you want to risk becoming a pincushion, it's your funeral. But you're right about one thing. This will be fun.
You take turns loosing blunted arrows, using each other as moving targets. Verse is an accomplished runner and swats the few projectiles that get close out of the air. When her turn arrives, it takes all of your energy to keep up with her relentless volley of projectiles. You observe her technique and take a valuable lesson to heart.
You held your own. Call me impressed. Need anything else, or did I tire you out?
We'll talk again later. Okay. Where is this Iron Marshal? There it is. There he is, or she is. I think it's a she. Don't just coddle the impact. Push back with your shield. Take the momentum. Iron Marshal Enrios, field commander of the disfavored, pounds her fist in the air as she calls out to the warriors on the training field. I said eyes on your opponent's waistline. If you spend more than a glance checking his footwork, you've lost. The disfavored officer turns to you, adjusting her pale golden surcoat as she clears her throat. You need to stay on top of the troops, or their skills will rust. It's for their own good, even if they don't believe it. How are your warriors reacting to the edict? Kyros' ultimatum has the camp on edge, some with dread, but most are rife with anticipation. She points at the men sparring in the field. We have a lot of brothers and sisters to avenge, and the warriors are eager to take out some aggression. I, for one, choose to see the edict as a blessing, for it forces the generals to act, and we're long overdue. It was mentioned you're short on warriors and need help. What's the situation? I have brigades amassing along Placid, Echo Call, and Little Tooth crossings. The Vendrian Guard may be able to hold one bridge, but they cannot hold against a concerted three-prong attack. I have no right to give orders, but... Her words falter, a short cough breaking her flow. But we all die to Kyros' edict should we fail, so I'm not about to let my pride blind me to the value of good help. This is the second major attack on the river, correct? What happened last time? Defeat in detail. We carved a bloody path up to the river, but at that point everyone who charged ahead was lost. We had no chorus backup, it was just a few disfavored squads. I can't tell you exactly how they were defeated, but we lost the whole assault team. She shakes her head, letting out a long pained sigh. We found bodies washing up in the river for days. It's not often the Tiersmen put up such a good fight. It certainly made us reevaluate the number we'll need to take this valley. Really? Are you sure our scouts didn't give you all sorts of details about the enemy and you just choose to disregard our warnings? We can pass out blame after the war. Only the Oathbreakers matter now. Quite right. Getting our emotions into the mix won't hasten this campaign. What's the value of taking the crossing? We can't just march from here to the Citadel with the Vendrian Guard manning the riverbanks. Forwarding troops and supplies through even the narrowest points of the river makes us vulnerable to attack, especially since our armor wasn't built for swimming. She points north, toward the mountain spire looming on the horizon. If we can take the river, we have a clear march to the Citadel, and Ascension Hall will be ours in no time. The disfavored need my help? Trying to pour salt on my pride? We left Fort Resolution with 100 on 100, and there have been no reinforcements or reserves. I keep throwing warriors back into battle before they're properly rested, so yes, I need to rely on all our allies, especially since most of our allies are conscripted tiersmen, worse than useless. If the disfavored didn't take every opportunity to insult the Scarlet Chorus, perhaps you'd find our help more forthcoming. Shut your snout, filthy mongrel. I won't suffer childish japes in my camp. I see where this is going. I just proclaimed an edict to put a stop to this nonsense. Of course, we must all set aside our frustrations. The Overlord's edict tells us in no uncertain terms that the time for such bickering is over. She shakes her head, a short sigh escaping her. We have plenty of time to argue later. For the moment, our days are numbered. I will assist. Then our plan might just work. The Iron Marshal lifts her gauntlet close to her face, shifting her eyes from you to the metal articulations. We are loath to work with those who do not share our training and our values. But we know that Tunon the Adjudicator selects only the most capable minds for his court, and I trust you will honor us all on the field. Antio will be leading the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barrack of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier standing sentry at the edge of the training field. Before you ask, no, the Forge-bound weren't sloshed on Dappleseed when they fitted his armor. He survived the full force of the Edict of Storms, and this armor doesn't exactly come off. Tactically, it's quite brilliant, but otherwise, it's something of a curse. Tapping her helmet twice, Erinios signals to the hulking presence. Barrack, come meet the Fatebinder. The soldier that steps up to you better resembles an amalgamation of rusted blades and mismatched pieces of armor fused into a vaguely human shape. He reeks of sweat, feces, and whatever oil treatment keeps him flexible.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive, and I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
An honor.
Likewise, good Binder.
The soldier heaves a heavy iron arm into a salute, his whole body clanging as he wraps his gauntlet against the twisted sheets of metal that form his breastplate.
Barrack, is that you under there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well. Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
Just a minute. You two know each other?
No. Oh, that is to say, yes. I'm already as familiar with this ironclad halfwit as I care to be.
She regards Barrack with a mixed look.
We don't have time to trade jabs today, Verse. After the siege, you can throw as many tantrums as you please. I suggest that we remain focused on the mission.
No offense to the mission, but seeing you looking like a garbage heap and reeking of a mass grave is more amusing by far. Did you forget how to don your armor, or did Grave and Ash leave you out in the rain?
Barrack sighs, a frustrated growl shaking his iron enclosure of a suit. I know him as well as I knew anyone during the conquest.
That can change. When the tiers are fully under our command, I'll take you to whatever passes for a watering hole in this forsaken country. We'll drink the local swill to honor the fallen.
Forget the fallen. I know a great brothel in Lethian's Crossing where we can watch something rise, then fall, then rise again.
The Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. I figured an extra hand might help. And more importantly, if my worries come true and the chorus try to impede the mission, we will have an observer from the court on our side.
Better to work with the Honorable Binder than some chorus children.
He nods to you, his armor creaking as he bends his neck. I ask that Barrack accompany you there to arbitrate the cooperation between his company and the Scarlet Chorus. Echo Call Crossing is now unlocked on the world map. Barrack, you've been without a cohort since the last Battle of Stalwart. It's time we gave you a task more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks in clipped official terms. Ash has assigned you to the Fateinder's service. You are to assume this task is ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean the swiftly approaching end of this war, or when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Barrack regards the Iron Marshal in oppressive silence. That's an order, Barrack. She shakes her head and sighs, returning her focus to you. He can be as stubborn as pulling a spire out of the earth, but he's a good soldier. I hope you don't mind the company. I'm honored to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. Excellent. I look forward to your success in the field. All right. So we got ourselves another companion. We have Barrack here. Now, I could go through the whole spiel with Barrack right now, maybe. Although I should wait until we get some more loyalty points with this guy, right? I'd imagine. Edict of Execution. Everyone got +1 resolve because of that. That's funny. Okay. So right now, our current quest is we need to meet with Antio at Echo Call Crossing, and we should speak with the Fifth Eye at the Scarlet Chorus camp. Got it. Well, let's go then. Okay, so from the disfavored camp directly to the Scarlet Chorus camp is 2 hours. To Echo Call Crossing is 5 hours. Let's go to the Scarlet Chorus camp. The Scarlet Chorus have taken residence within the decayed walls of an old fortress. It is currently the base of operations for the Voices of Narat's campaign in the valley. Sure. Ambush! Your path is blocked by a small group of Vendrian guard. You can go no farther until you deal with them. Oh, really? I didn't realize this game was like Pokemon.
That's far enough, Fatebinder.
A woman's voice booms from atop a nearby outcropping. Flashes of aquamarine body paint peek out from under her loose-fitting traveler's garb, and her outfit is festooned in braids and knots of sailor's line. Flanked on either side by warriors dressed in Vendrian god regalia, the woman leans on an elaborate bladed staff pulsing with arcane energy. A swath of blue fabric rests draped over her arm. The blue body pigment, bladed staff, and complex braided attire are the traditional trappings of the School of Tides. According to the Fatebinder Rogalos, the majority of the school fled before the coming of Kyros. The remainder were last seen during the first campaign in Vendrian's Well. The School of Tides traditionally studies the magic of water, and Gravelight, the art of directing the moon's arcane light into baleful, searing energy. The blue flag is a symbol of diplomacy and truce recognized across most of the known world, and it is a custom that Tiersmen hold dear. To harm another person under the auspices of a blue flag is a grave offense, in both the Tiers and in Kyros Empire. The customary punishment is death. Oh, so she's a truce. She brings truce.
I owe you an apology, Peacebinder, for we have dishonored the surrender that you offered us in our year of defeat. I cannot excuse or defend our action. I leave that to history. But all the same, I am deeply indebted to you for treating my Tiersmen with charity and humanity, even in this time of madness.
Remember that when the defenders of the Apex campaign sued Kyros' forces for peace in 429, we were the ones who negotiated the yielding of the realm, putting an end to the bloodshed until they restarted it. Many in Apex know me as the Peacebinder, and many see us as the voice of mercy that kept the two generals from slaughtering every last Tearsman in the valley.
In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I offer and request a delay of blade. There are matters we must discuss without fear of reprisal.
The woman bows deeply, lowering her head in a practiced display of etiquette. The warriors by her remain in a ready stance, their nerves clearly on edge. Because we're the diplomat, in accordance with ancient customs north and south, I abide by this truce.
As is our custom, we are ready to kill to defend our lands, but we kill only in fair battle. We don't slay our prisoners. We know this isn't Kyros' way, but we must have hope. A few of my kin have gone missing, and though they may have perished, I have to inquire on the off chance they still live. If Captain Tarkus Deimos still lives, we would negotiate for his release.
One of the leaders of the attack on Edgering Ruins, Tarkus Deimos, was subdued during the battle. In accordance with the Scarlet Chorus's request, you ordered Deimos conscripted into the chorus. That's right, we did. We're under truce. No reason to lie right now. Tarkus Deimos is with the chorus now.
Then if we see him again, it will have to be as enemies.
She looks to the warriors to either side of her, shaking her head.
If I may make one more inquiry, what of Palox Tyrell? Did he survive?
Though you rarely have the luxury of matching names to the countless Tearsmen you've encountered, you are reasonably certain she is asking about the Vendrian guard warrior that took Drastus hostage at Edgering Ruins. He did not survive the encounter. Palox Tyrell is dead. She nods slowly, saying nothing for a long moment.
My apologies, Fatebinder. I had a terrible feeling this errand was in vain from the start. I had no expectations that our friends could be saved, as I'm sure the time for swapping prisoners is long gone. But at least I know of what became of them. That'll have to be enough.
I have some questions for you.
We shouldn't be socializing with Oathbreakers.
I will entertain them as best I can. After all, understanding is the only hope we have. What is it you wish to know?
Why do you resist Kyros? What are you trying to save?
I grew up without my knee bent to Kyros, and if I'm going to bow to someone, let it be another Tearsman. We've ruled ourselves just fine for centuries, so we'll give our lives so that our sons and daughters might rule themselves.
What's the better response to this? The younger realms were beset with constant battle. You'd prefer that to Kyros' order? Only your daughters are really free in the Tears. Why fight against Kyros' equality? What makes you think you have a chance? But a mage like you would not be the subject of such superstition and fear under Kyros' reign. Let me ask of something else. But a mage like you would not be the subject of such superstition and fear under Kyros' reign.
I doubt life is any better sworn to some mad Archon. I'd rather stand with my fellow Tearsmen. Or, I suppose, stand immediately behind them in the event of an attack.
At that remark, the soldiers flanking her exchanged shocked looks. Ebb turns her focus to her compatriots.
Yeah, you heard me. Way things were years back, you'd all be calling me a water witch and conspiring to sell me out to the nearest sage. Just because I'm helping you stop Kyros doesn't mean I've forgotten the hospitality of ages past.
So it sounds like we guessed right here, and that the mages of the Tears have always been in conflict with those who do not have magic here.
And people wonder why the Tearsmen could never unite in time to fight back. It's refreshing to see that some things never change.
The younger realms were beset with constant battle. You'd prefer that to Kyros' order?
You make conflict sound like a bad thing. Yes, the younger realms saw frequent battles, but it was never this wholesale slaughter like we've seen of late. No Tearsman ever cast an edict on the soil, or forced prisoners to kill each other, or butchered beastmen tribes.
She's got a point there. I don't know about this one. I don't know how she would feel about this. I guess I'll ask it just to kind of poke and prod and see what her stance is on it. Only your daughters are really free in the tiers. Why fight against Kyros' equality?
There's freedom, then there's trusting idiots with power. Give a man 1,000,000 marauders, he'll lose sleep worrying over his neighbor's 1,000. I prefer my realms ruled by the braver sex. For centuries we've left the lands to the women, and the seas to the men. And we did plenty fine until Kyros came around.
Let me ask you something else. How did you and your friends overthrow the garrison?
I would joke that the voices of Nerat left the gate unlatched, but dozens of warriors lost their lives taking the citadel. There was no secret to it. We simply attacked with speed and certainty at a time when the Archons were elsewhere in the tiers. The Scarlet Chorus had a rout, and what few disfavored soldiers were present made an impressive showing. But they were surrounded and overwhelmed once the chorus fled.
Who's in charge of this insurrection?
Listen to you. Thinking just like the Overlord wants you to think. There always has to be a person in charge, or things don't make sense. Well, we don't answer to anyone. We are each of us sons and daughters of the tiers, and take this task upon ourselves freely. But Captain Tarkus Ari, former Falksman of Queen Vendry and Alanta, is the voice we trust when we seek unanimity.
I assume Tarkus Ari and Tarkus Demos are relations.
Yes. Deimos was Ari's brother. We were certain he was dead, but the captain takes family seriously, so I volunteered to find some answers. And now here we are.
Were there prisoner swaps in the past?
That is our way, Binder. Here in the south, only thugs and bandits kill prisoners. The younger realms may be guilty of constant fighting, but we never slay each other when the battle's long over. We're not about to change that now. As a rule, Kyros' forces haven't been keen on swapping prisoners. But I know our disfavored prisoners aren't prisoners anymore. I just assumed they were swapped for some of our own.
That's all.
Fair enough. But now a question for you.
Okay.
The Edict. I can feel its magic coursing through the air. Everyone can. But those of us enlightened to the currents of magic feel it most. The wording of the Edict. What was it?
Ah. Do we let our enemies in on the secret of the Edict? Would it push them to fight harder, or would it make them give in? I think we'd be upfront. If we're gonna try and survive this edict, I think we all should know it. Kyros' forces must take Ascension Hall by the Day of Swords, or all in the valley will perish.
In the name of the vaunted North, the will of Kyros should be delivered with blade and hammer, not to the ears of oathbreakers and compromisers.
Curious. You did say all in the valley. So the edict will affect Kyros' forces? This is most unexpected.
Her eyes widen at your words. Correct.
That is most troubling. So either the soldiers come to destroy and kill us, or the edict does the work. I suppose we should be so honored the Overlord is taking no chances on us. I've another question for you, if you will entertain it.
Okay.
Are we really standing here and chatting with oathbreakers? It's hard to watch, like cuddling a goat you're going to kill for dinner.
Ask your question, Ebb, as I stare down verse.
When I was young, my parents told me the tiers were special, and the Overlord's edicts and armies could never touch us. Seems I've been told a hefty sum of lies. So answer this honestly for me, please. Is it true that Tunon's fate binders can smell truth from falsehood?
We can lie and say yes, lie and say that's true. Falsehood on parchment is an especially rank smell to endure. No, that's not true. Glare silently, or I'm done answering questions. Interesting. I haven't been false with Ebb yet. No, that's not true.
Thanks for that. I could see why you'd want to foster the mystique all the same. The School of Tides would always tell commoners we didn't know how to summon drinkable water. Once they find out, you can't eat in peace. And Kyros' edicts. I have heard the sages speak at length that some of the edicts elsewhere in the world have been broken. How is this?
Interesting. You are mistaken. An edict is forever. It will end if the Overlord wills it, however. That's a lie. A strong enough anti-magical force can end an edict. Not that such things are common. Also a lie. It varies based on the wording of the proclamation. If Kyros provides a clause allowing the edict to end, that clause can be satisfied. That's because we know the lore. The Overlord has some control over how the edict lingers, but Kyros only knows the details. Glare silently, or I'm done. No. It varies, based on the wording of the proclamation. If Kyros provides a clause allowing the edict to end, the clause can be satisfied.
Ah, so some edicts are forever. The rest are, as long as Kyros has in mind? Needless to say, Kyros' magic is unlike anything we've seen in any Archon. And one more mildly self-indulgent question, but I simply must know. Kyros, male or female?
I honestly do not know for certain.
Really? You don't know either? You work for the Overlord, but you don't know if she, or he, has an innie or an outie?
No, I don't know, but I have it on good authority. The Imperial Harem is stocked with both. I think the Overlord just wants to keep people guessing. It seems to work quite well. Would you feel better or worse to know that you lost to a man or woman? Why does this matter? Nah, I think the Overlord just wants to keep people guessing. It seems to work quite well.
You may well be correct. I've heard speculation that Kyros is a brother and sister duo, but that sounds like utter rubbish. Find me two siblings that could work together for 4 centuries, and I've an ocean to sell you. You'll forgive, I hope, the questions. The Overlord and his Archons used to be things of legend. Now they're everyday maladies, and I'm eager to separate the truth from the lies I've been told by House and Guild.
I've been gaining loyalty with this person. We're now at loyalty 3. I wonder if she's going to be a companion of ours, too.
In accordance to our most ancient customs, let us depart in honorable accord. May peace find you, Fatebinder.
She bows deeply, pounding her staff on the ground twice before turning to leave. Got some goodies to look up here first. Got some agate and skycap. You can make out the faintest outline of a soldier's arm in the bottom of this pond, a victim of the previous battle in this area. Ew. Ew. And this guy here. Rot Spirit and skycap. The grasslands of the Tiers stretch far throughout the land. Much of it remains uninhabited and unclaimed by any faction. How the hell do I get out of here? Ah, okay, good. To the camp. Alright, we've arrived here at the outskirts of the Scarlet Chorus camp, and next episode we will do some exploring here as well. We met with Ebb, who we've been gaining loyalty with, so I assume we'll be seeing her again one day. But will it be next time? Hey everyone, J Square John Jeremy here, and I want to thank you for watching. Check out another video from yours truly, or take a look at the playlist for this series. If you haven't done so already, click on the logo to subscribe and keep track of this channel. Until next time, so long, and take care.